fact, each time Chris Top goes live, a new child learns to walk. And eventually learns to dance to Freebird. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, you can't dance to Freebird. My bad.
The Chris Top Program, the alternative to the garbage on Spreaker. Thank you for calling the Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder Hotline. If you have ADHD, please press 1. So you do have ADHD. Is this correct? Please press 1. Now that we know the it is only necessary to make your selection. It has been established you do have ADHD. Please. Okay, dude, seriously, if you want help, you're going to have to stop playing with the keypad. Oh, look, it's a shiny ball with bells on it. Thank you for calling the Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder Hotline.
Take it from the top.
Mr. Pop.
Dorks of the world, unite. No, okay, listen closely. It's not WOBA, it's WABA.
Take it from the top.
Mr.
Take it from the top.
This is the Chris Top Program, broadcasting worldwide to at least 3 people.
And I am the one and only Chris Top, broadcasting live from my lavish studio apartment here in sunny Clarksville, Tennessee, with an ocean view. In many parts of the world, I'm known as the dork president. And that's in the United States. See, I've already screwed this up. See, that's what happens when I eat pizza. I can't even think. I just want to take a nap now. So let me rewind that. In the United States, I'm known as the dork president. In the UK, I'm known as King Dork. In many parts of the world, and I'm very ashamed of this, I'm known as the Great Dork Tater. My geek friends, they call me Dork Vader. Down under, I'm known as El Dorco. So here we are. You guys wanted a funny show. I'm going to do my best. According to Kathy, I'm not that funny. So I'd like to welcome Kathy to the chat. She's my resident hater. We've also got Live to Chat Radio in the chat. And Stephen, how the hell are you? Now, Stephen, I have a challenge for you. If this is your first time in the chat of the Chris Top program, you have to know this. You have to know that this is where the dorks hang out. This is a dork safe haven. If you're ready to step from the closet and embrace the light of your dorkhood, then this is the right place for you, Stephen. Now, I would like to take it one step further. Stephen, I want you to listen very closely. You have a mission. I want you to memorize your mission because it's going to explode in 30 seconds. I want you to go to my Facebook fan page and I want you to post the dorkiest picture that you have of yourself. And then you will be immortalized into the Dork Hall of Fame. So Stephen is, I'd hit it. Okay, I remember Stephen now. See, you guys change your names and you expect me to know who you are. And I have no clue. Music Road Radio got rejected from iHeartRadio, Chris. This is our second time. It's not fair. Music Road, do you play copyrighted music? If you do, they're not going to let you in. It's as simple as that. And if you play any music at all right now, I would say that they're not taking the time to look. So if you play copyrighted songs, or if you play even cover songs, they're probably going to reject you. So basically what they're looking for talk radio. Maybe they're looking for new talent. If they're looking for new talent, I want in. I definitely want in. I want to get paid to do what I love doing. That's what I want to do. We've also got HTLA Radio in the chat. It's always a pleasure to see my good buddy Chris. It really is. He gives me a hard time every once in a while, but that's okay. It really is. Now, I have something. I've never discussed this on the show before, and I just want to bring this up because this isn't the story. I'm going to retell the chiropractor story here in a little while. And if you haven't heard that, it's worth a listen. And if you have heard it, it's worth another listen. Because if it embarrasses me, then I know it's funny. And this is real stuff. These are true stories. Believe it or not, when I was 15 years old, I was very socially awkward. And I know that comes as a great surprise to many of you. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but you're Chris Topp. You're the king of dorks. I mean, how could you have been socially awkward? Well, because I am the king of dorks. And that's why I'm going to leave you hanging for just a second, because I do want to talk about one thing. And if you listen to the show, you're going to realize that I get sidetracked a lot. And if that's not your type of radio, then I apologize. I really do. But I'm not going to change how I am. I just can't. Raise your hand if you've ever had a hangover. I've got my hand up in the air right now. Now, a hangover cures come in many forms. Andrew Bong, I'm doing great. I just got a Skype from Andrew Bong. He says, hey, I don't know why he calls me Christ. I'm not that cool. And I told him that last night on Skype. I said, look, dude, I said, it's Chris. Don't call me Christ. I can't walk on water. If I try it, I fall in, and I have tried it. I tried just running into the pool as quickly as I possibly could, because I saw a lizard do it one time on National Geographic, and I weigh a little bit more than the lizard. I get that, but I just went straight down, so I didn't even come close to walking on the water. So I don't know. Okay, let me go to Skype real quick and tell Andrew that I'm doing a live show, because I guess he doesn't know. Okay, I'm just going to... See, I have a hard time multitasking. Okay. I said I'm doing a live show, and then I told him to come on. Now, I got sidetracked about 3 times. Let's go back to hangovers. So, hangover cures, they come in many forms. Now, probably the most dependable is it's just a big old greasy sandwich. Don't ever use Spam for your hangover sandwich. Just don't ever do that. Because it doesn't. You can fry Spam and you can put stuff on it, but it's still Spam. And it's not going to work well for hangovers. Now, there's a sandwich guy, his name's Simon Nash. He's from England. He's upped the ante, and he's created the world's hottest sandwich. Now, see, I didn't know they graded hotness. See, I'm a weenie when it comes to that stuff. I like Louisiana hot sauce, not really because it's hot, but just because it's got a good flavor to it. Now, when I go to Mexican restaurants, I don't use the green stuff because I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid it's going to burn my mouth and make me sweat on my nachos fajitas. And for me, it's not enjoyable if I'm sweating on my nachos fajitas and I want to pass out. I did that once. I didn't pass out, but I came close to blacking out. But I'm not going to do it again because I learned from my mistakes. So he's upped the ante, and he's created the world's hottest sandwich, declaring war on the hangover. Who would eat this sandwich? I don't know anybody that would eat this sandwich. Is there anybody in the world that would eat this sandwich? Because I would like to meet you. Do you even have a tongue? Do you have a mouth? Would you just take the sandwich and would you just automatically digest it? How do you do it? So it's made with the spiciest chilies. And one of the chilies is called the Trinidad Scorpion. I would not put anything close to my mouth called the Trinidad Scorpion. I just wouldn't do it. That sounds like a professional wrestler. I don't want to get close to something like that. I don't. I don't want to put anything like that in my mouth. And then there's one called I don't even know how to say this. I'm assuming it's butt, B-H-U-T, and then it's J-O-L-O-K-I-A. And if I can't pronounce it, I'm probably not going to put it in my mouth either. Now, the Flaming Hell sandwich And see, maybe some of you know this, but the Flaming Hell sandwich, it clocks in. Oh, seriously? I'm getting a Skype call. I don't do Skype calls, just because I'm getting another one. Because I go solo on my shows. Now, every once in a while I'll have a guest, but usually they're here. So I'm going to sign out of Skype real quick because that gets annoying pretty fast. So the Flaming Hell sandwich clocks in at 2.3. What is it, a volcano? Is it an earthquake? I didn't know that they had scales for the hotness of sandwiches. Am I that far out of the loop? So the Flaming Hell sandwich clocks in at 2.3 million Scoville heat units. They have a name for this and everything. So the Flaming Hell sandwich clocks in at 2.3 million. That's SHU, and that's how they abbreviate it. Now, if you want something to compare that to, normal Tabasco sauce, which burns my mouth, which I stay away from, is about 2,500 to 5,000 SHU. I had no idea they had scales and measurements for the hotness of sandwiches. I'm amazed. Remember those little jawbreakers that you used to get when you were little, the little red ones? You'd put it in your mouth and it would just get flaming hot. And then once you got past that layer, then it would get kind of cool. And then it would get hot again. I mean, it made me sweat. It was too much for me. I mean, that had to be like at least 6,000 SHUs, I would think. Who in the hell can handle, besides Godzilla, a Flaming Hell sandwich that clocks in at 2.3 million? I don't even understand. Now, it can be handled only with latex gloves. See, and this guy, he's trying to give these away. I mean, if I'm going to eat a sandwich, I'm going to get a cheeseburger. I'm not going to get something that's going to set my mouth on fire. And see, it's about more than just your mouth, too, because it's going to go in, right? And then eventually, it's got to come back out, too. So when it comes back out, what's that going to feel like? The 2.3 million SHUs coming out of your butt. You've got a Flaming Hell sandwich that's eventually, it's going to work its way through your stomach, through your intestines, and then come out your butt. It's going to set you on fire. You're not only going to sweat when you eat it, but then when it comes out the other end, you're going to sweat too. See, to me, that does not sound like any kind of fun. No kind of fun whatsoever. And it can be handled only with latex gloves. And this guy's offered free sandwiches to anyone who could polish off the Flaming Hell in under 10 minutes. I bet if someone were to eat that, they might die. What do you think? Is there anybody in the chat that thinks they can handle the Flaming Hell? Over 2 million SHUs, whatever that means. HTLA says, the rules are the rules professionals go by and work within. Beat them at their own game, damn it. And that's what HTLA, and that's in response to Music Road Radio getting rejected. Kathy says she wouldn't eat the sandwich. She says spam is gross. Oh, Kathy does strange things with spam. She's mentioned it in the chat before. I'm not going to go into great detail because some of you may get sick. We have Keena in the chat. Keena, it's good to see you. She says, I can't do spicy food at all, so no way. I don't know of anybody that could do the Flaming Hell sandwich. Becca says, my little brother likes spicy food. Yeah, but are we talking, does he like Flaming Hell spicy? Or does he like the Jawbreaker spicy that I was talking about? Now, Kevin says, and Kevin is a good buddy of mine. He's like a walking encyclopedia. So he's going to know about this stuff. He says, the second pepper is also known as a ghost pepper. Kevin grows them. Really, Kevin? Really? You grow these hot peppers? He says habaneros are only supposed to be a third to a half as hot as ghost peppers. Have you taken a bite out of one of the ghost peppers? What did that do to you? I mean, it can't be good for you. And how was it coming out? See, I couldn't imagine. Oh, and Live to Chat Radio. He says, picks up a sandwich, takes a bite, rubs eyes. Oh my God. See, that's what I would do. I wouldn't think about it. I would take a bite of my sandwich. It would set me on fire. My eyes would be watery, and then I would rub them, and then I'd really be in trouble. I would really be in trouble. Kina says, one bite, indigestion for the rest of your life. Becca says she wants to try it now. Steven says he's done something like that, and it was a horrible 2 days. See, I can imagine it would take days, maybe weeks, to get over something like that. Not me, brother. No, I'm not going to do it, ever. Ever. It's not worth it. See, Kevin knows all about SHU. See, why didn't you ever tell me about this stuff, Kevin? This is brand new to me. Why don't you ever put this in your little fact thing that you post on Twitter? He says the ghost pepper by itself is only 1,000 SHU. Or, I'm sorry, 1 million SHU. Only. It's only. And then, like, the normal Tabasco sauce was at most 5,000. HTLA says, if you need it that hot, just go eat the sun and save on the trouble. I'm with you. Now, okay, so Kevin says he puts it into food. Never ate one by itself. Kevin says he has an iron gut. So I mean, just like little itty-bitty shavings and lots of food. Like if you're going to feed like 50 people, maybe you put one of those peppers in it just to give it a little spice. See, that's what I'm thinking. He says he put 3 into my gallon of chili or 6 habaneros. Steven says at my old shops what is this? Our new mechanics with the 2 most intense hot sauces. Rubbing your eyes is the worst newbie mistake the guys made. So I used to initiate their new mechanics. See, that's just wrong. It's just wrong. Okay, now I've got to get on with the show because I'm over halfway through. But earlier I'd mentioned, when I was 15, I was pretty awkward. And I know you know that. It's fine. And I actually had an older girl ask me out on a date. And I wasn't driving, so she came and she picked me up. Now, at 15, I did not know what the hell I was doing. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So she comes to pick me up, and she's got this little car, and we're sitting in her car, and we go driving around for a while. And I have a question to ask you guys, because this isn't a whole story, okay? This is just a little tidbit. So we go on our date. It's just really awkward. I'm extremely nervous because I'm just not around girls that much. Right? I grew up. I mean, I had a brother and a sister, but my sister was like 10 years older than me. So it's kind of like I was an only child. So I go on this date. On the way back, she makes her move on the top, and I don't know what to do. I have this little voice that I use for Abby. It's like Abby will run outside the door, and she'll only go so far because she doesn't usually go outside. So she'll like just run out, and then she'll stop, and she'll get this worried-ass look on her face, and she'll be like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I need to get back inside, and then she'll run back in. So that's kind of what went on in my mind. Because she made her move on me while she was driving her stick shift. She, in between changing gears, she put her hand on my knee. And first thing I thought is, oh my God, what am I supposed to do with this? I didn't know I was freaking 15. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, she's got her hand on my knee. This is supposed to be cool. Nobody told me I was supposed to hold her hand back. Nobody ever told me I was supposed to put my hand on her knee. I could have got to second base. But instead I sat there. And in my mind I thought, oh my God, hurry up and get me home. I'm scared to death. That's what I was thinking. That's what was going on in my mind. Now, okay, that's not really, okay, that's neither here nor there. What was weird when she put her hand on my knee, she was one of the coldest people I've ever met in my life. I mean, I'm a pretty warm-natured kind of guy. I'm always warm. I don't even sleep with covers most of the time. But she put her hand on my knee, and I felt like I was sitting with Iceman. She put her hand, I had blue jeans on. She puts her hand on my knee, and within seconds, I swear to you, I had freezer burns on my leg. It's like this cold just went right through my blue jeans onto my skin, and I swear to you, I had freezer burns. She was that cold. Have you ever touched a dead person? It must have been something like that. So that kind of threw me off, and I thought, well, are all girls like that? See, and that scared me, because I didn't know. So what makes somebody that cold? Is anybody... See, I've shaken hands before with people, and they had like sweaty palms. I don't exactly know what that means, but then this person, her temperature couldn't have been more than 80 degrees. Why was she? What makes her like? Did she need one of those ghost peppers, Kevin? See, I don't know. Now I've got 9 minutes left, and I hope this is enough time to tell the story that I was going to tell you. Oh, and it did. It traumatized me. I couldn't wait to get home. I got home and I covered up because I was afraid. I would like to welcome Holly to the chat. Holly, I did respond to your email, so make sure you check that out and respond back, okay? Chaz says, but it's almost over. Well, yeah, we got 8 minutes left, so I'm going to try this. Kevin says she has low blood pressure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want nothing to do with it. It was like an ice cube sitting on my knee. So I should have offered her some salt. Well, next time, if I go on a random date, I'll take salt with me, just in case. And if she puts her hand on my knee, I'll offer her some salt. Well, what if I just shake the salt on her hand? Is it going to melt? You know how they salt the icy roads? I mean, her hand could have melted. It could have fused with my knee. It could have. And now Holly brings up a good question. She says, Kathy, how in the hell could you hate on the Chris Top program? If you think he's not funny, you must be deaf. Chris Top is full of stories, comedy, and entertainment. Chris Top shows more passion than most broadcasters. And Holly, I think you have to understand, and the judge has spoken, I think you have to understand Kathy. Kathy's been a long-time listener to the show, and every once in a while it's nice to have a resident hater in the chat. It keeps things interesting. So when Kathy hates, it's all out of love, I hope. I think. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I've got to tell this story. I might have to do another show just because I haven't even started the story yet. So I don't know if I can get it into 7 minutes or not. But okay, I'm going to try. So most of you know who listen to my show, a few months ago I was having these horrible back problems. And I would sit here doing my shows, and you probably noticed because I'd just be talking, and then I go, and it was because I've got this bulging disc, like in my lower back. And that's one of those things that I've just dealt with for a long time, because I just figured, well, I'm getting old, and I'm going to have back problems. That's just the way it is. Yo, Scooter, how are you doing, buddy? Scooter's my Red Bull drinking friend. So I didn't really worry about it because I just felt like that's how life was going to be. So I was going to deal with it. But then I started getting this pain in my upper back, and I didn't know where the hell that came from. That's the one that was making me scream on the air. Because I would turn certain ways, I'd do that. And it's because I was in a lot of pain. So I thought, okay, I don't really want to go to the doctor. Because they're going to give me a bunch of drugs. And I really don't want to be high all the time. I mean, if I could just be high part of the time, that might be okay. But I don't want to be high all the time in order for my back to stop hurting. So I thought, well, my buddy Scott, he goes to the chiropractor. And he said a lot of good things about the chiropractor. So I figured I would try that out. And I've never been to a chiropractor. I didn't know what to expect from a chiropractor, to be honest with you, because I didn't know the difference between a massage and getting your back beaten by a doctor. And say, no, I'm not pregnant. Why would you? I'm a guy. So I go to the chiropractor, and immediately when I walk in, you got to remember, I'm a dork through and through, and I'm proud of that. I really am. So immediately when I walk in, the place is full of beautiful women. And I guess in order to be a chiropractor or to work for a chiropractor, you have to be a beautiful woman. I guess because I walked in and just automatically, my whole body went numb. I reached up and I felt to my lip, and I couldn't feel my lip, but there was drool. That was just, I think it was already, there was a big stalactite hanging from my chin of drool, because all of these beautiful women were in there. I almost expected to hear the Hawaiian music and then some woman come up to me in a bikini and put a lei around my neck. That's what I almost expected. So I didn't know what to do. So I went in and I just kind of sit down. I looked around for a while because I want to feel comfortable with my surroundings before I make any kind of move. So I try to sneak in like a little ninja. So I walk in and I sit down, but I can't sit down like a ninja because when I sit down, my bulging disc in my upper back, it bulged, I guess. And as I was sitting down, I went, ah! And then everybody just looks at me. So much for being secretive. So then the woman at the front desk, she's like, "May I help you?" And I know she didn't say it like that, but that's how I remember it in my mind. And then as she said it, there was this glowing light behind her, and there was music. There was a violin somewhere, I swear. I swear there was a violin somewhere. And she made eye contact. We connected. And then I said, "Yeah, I've got my back hurts." And so she said, "Well, come on up." So I went up to the receptionist, and she was the receptionist, and she was beautiful. I don't even know where they find these people. I don't know if they go through the Sears catalog and just pick out people that model the clothes and say, "Hey, will you come just be the receptionist?" Well, okay. Let's go through Sports Illustrated Swimsuit Edition. And, okay, you are going to be a chiropractor. And, okay, now let's go through Playboy. Okay, you are going to be a nurse at the chiropractor's office. I'm thinking that's how they probably pick their people. And I'm running out of time, so I'm going to have to do a third show and finish this story. So I do want to say goodnight to Steven. Steven says, "Sorry, Chris, got to run. Got to build heavy machinery in 7 hours. Good show as always. Everyone have a good night." Yeah, you better get some sleep. Seriously, if you're going to have to deal with heavy machinery, it's probably a good idea. See, a lot of the stuff I do, I can get by with an hour or two sometimes. But if I'm building like transformers, like not transformers like electricity, but like transformers like "My name is Optimus Prime," like that, then you might want to get some sleep. Live to Chat Radio says they take retired Victoria's Secret models. Where do the retired Victoria's Secret models go? Where do they retire to? It must be heaven. I want to go. I want to go hang out with the over-the-hill 23-year-old Victoria's Secret models. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, you're 23, you're out of here. Give me that bra and panty back. All right, so I'm going to have to do another part to this show. So I'll be back up and running in less than 10 minutes. Until I broadcast again, please remember, life is good and I'm gone.
You have been exposed to the Chris Top program. Tune in next,
Yeah, I don't have a schedule.
right.